Now, if you want to have a figurine inside your case for some reason, this case might be the best solution for it. Today we're going to talk about Cougar FV270, and this case is quite interesting because you have an option to insert something inside the case to have a figurine like I have right here. So you can add a luminous rotating platform right instead of the fan that comes here. And I did benchmarks with the fan and without the fan, so we'll get to that part later on. And it's quite cool because I saw a couple of builds with figurines inside the case and there was no specific position where you could actually place it. And then you have this, which doesn't obstruct the GPU, doesn't go and interfere the GPU fans or whatever. The only thing, if you have a cape like I have on this figurine, well, Batman, then I would suggest maybe doing a double-sided tape on something so the fans don't blow Batman away. But regardless of that, it's quite interesting case in general, and I really enjoyed building inside one because first of all, this case supports back connect for micro ATX and ATX, which comes to the point that at the back we have around 4 centimeters of space for cable management. But even if you had 10 centimeters of space, and if it's not organized properly at the back, you wouldn't be able to organize your cables as you can in this case, right? So this case actually has an outstanding, let's say, organization at the back to give you an option to reorganize the cables and do outstanding cable management. So this case comes with a single fan stock, and that's the one in the power supply shroud compartment, and it's fairly easy to remove it. So basically what you have to do is remove this top part here that is possible to mount two 120 or two 140 millimeter fans. You have a thumb screw that you untie and you just remove that hinge that holds that part over there. You press the button, well, not a button, but it has that click, like some cases have it on top, and you remove the fan from its original connection. It has a 3-pin connection, so it kind of goes into same, let's say you can control PWM and you can control addressable RGB through that, but if you remove it and you put this rotating platform, it connects to the same part, starts rotating, and it also lights up. So it's kind of a cool effect, I do have to admit. In general, when we're talking about the case, it's slightly tilted from the front and it lowers down at the back, giving that fan a nice intake for the GPU. So it's really good that they did that. But that's not all, of course, because this case is packed full of wonders, and we have a nice, interesting front curved tempered glass, which creates a nice intake for the side fans, and I'm quite loving the case, and it's really giving a special effect depending what you place. If you place a fan, it really doesn't matter. But if you go with a figurine and you want to have that seamless viewing angle from all sides, this tempered glass, the curved tempered glass, really does make it look quite nice. So it comes in two colors. We have black and white, and the airflow configuration in this case is intake on the side, intake at the bottom, and exhaust at the top and at the rear. You can of course go with loads of fans and loads of configuration, but we'll get to that part later on. On top we have a power on button, reset button, a 3.5mm 4-pole jack, we have USB Type-C and two USB 3.0. When we discuss radiator support, at the top we can place 280 or 360, at the rear we could go with 120 or 140. Power supply cover or shroud, you can go with 240, and on the side you could go with 280. With the fans, you could go with 3 120 at the top or 2 140, rear 120 or 140, side 2 140 or 2 120, bottom, which comes stock, is 1 120, and on the power supply shroud cover 2 140 or 2 120. Now, I mentioned back connect, right? So it supports ASUS BTF, it supports Gigabyte Project Stealth and MSI Project Zero. We're having support for even up to eATX motherboards. Discussing the mounting on the top, everything is on pegs. So you remove the side tempered glass with pegs, you remove the front tempered glass as well, the back part, and the top. And the cool thing is the radiator mount on the top is quite easy to do, because with the two screws you remove the whole top bracket, and you can place either fans or radiator. It's all up to you what your configuration is, but it's easy out of the case mounting system, which is outstanding. At the back we have a couple of cool features as well, because here's the thing: you have a possibility to mount up to 4 2.5-inch SSDs or 2 3.5-inch hard drives, and this is carefully done. I mean, carefully done. Don't get me wrong. It's very nicely configured, because the power supply shroud has an opening for the power supply, of course, at the back. But you have a cover. When you remove it, you place the power supply. But when you place it back, you have an opening for 3.5-inch, well, something like a caddy, or 2.5-inch SSD. Right on front, where the cables go when they face the fan on the front, you have another cage or another bracket for 2.5-inch SSD, and behind the back plate of the motherboard, you have possibility to mount one 3.5-inch or two 2.5-inch SSDs, which is outstanding. At the back we have 7 expansion slots, and it supports vertical GPU, which is really good. Maximum number of fans, we can go up to 9 of these, and that is really cool. RGB sync with the motherboard is supported, and maximum GPU length is 420 millimeters or 330 if the radiator with the fans is on the side of the motherboard. CPU cooler height is 180 and maximum power supply length is 250. So when you take into consideration this case and everything that you have, I mean, the back part, as already stated, cable management is outstanding, and you can see that from a close-up. You have loads of Velcro ties, and they're carefully placed at the proper position. The cool thing is this cover here for the cable. Let me just show you this cover for the cable right here, which really does cover up all those cables if you're not going with a back connect. That's something else. And the interesting part is that all of this can be packed with 9 fans or 8 fans if you go with the platform. Now for the benchmarks, I did a couple of interesting stuff. So we have their new AIO POSEIDON Ultra 360, which I used with its original fans. And then I went with a Polar 120 addressable RGB to match the side and the rear fans as well. So I wanted to have a cool looking build, and I wanted to have a performance build in terms of just wanted to test everything for you guys. So with POSEIDON Ultra 360 addressable RGB original fans, we get in AIDA 64 Extreme Edition 89 on the CPU, clock speed 4850, and the GPU went up to 70. So the GPU, and that includes also this fan on the front in the power supply shroud. So the GPU goes up for 3 degrees higher than in regular cases. But the CPU is outstanding. So as per usual, AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D, and here are the Cinebench scores. So 87 to 88, eventually going down to 86. I would say the average of temperature is 87 degrees with quite interesting clock speeds, 4950 to 5000. And clearly I can say that the average is 4975. And then we go with scores. It starts at 26,250, the highest is 26,510, and the last one is 26,407. Some average, what I would say, is really near 26,400s, and that's outstanding. The performance on the AIO is great, but you'll hear that everything in another video. But then I went with the platform, and I went with a Polar 120 addressable RGB on the radiator, and we got 90 degrees on the CPU, 4850 MHz clock speed, and the GPU, because I removed that front fan, went up to 71. Nothing drastical, I would say, but still it does help a bit. And imagine even adding more fans on the power supply shroud, because it has a ventilation here at the back. The case has an opening with a dust filter here at the back for the power supply, so it kind of collects the clean air, cold air from the back of the case. Some average on the thermals is 86 in Cinebench, and the average on the clock speed is 4950, which is still solid. And then we go with Cinebench scores from 26 to 82, which is basically almost the maximum. The maximum is 26,334 and the lowest one is 26,113. Altogether, I would say 26,220 on average. So it kind of loses the performance if you remove that front fan and if you switch the original fans that come with the AAO. But in general, this case first looks amazing. I really dig in the whole design and everything on pegs. It's really straightforward. Top dust filter, magnetic one. Side dust filter here at the back. Of course, we have a dust filter here at the back where the side fans are, and we have a dust filter here at the bottom, which kind of goes into 240, 280 radiator range in terms of the size, and it's, as you can see, really straightforward. The cool thing is the platform, because it kind of gives that more aesthetically pleasing design where you actually have a possibility to place something inside your build, just like I would say a special touch to your case, just to give something extra to it. Nothing too tacky, but it's really cool addition, and I'm really digging that part. It's really nice, yeah, without a doubt. So all in all, what I can say is this case is outstanding. Guys, with all of this, especially, let's go, back connect, 9 fans, rotational platform that you could grab if you desire to do so, but even without it, it looks quite nice. Curved tempered glass and a really specific design when we're talking about case in general, because it's risen quite nicely from the front. Loads of space at the back, and not just because of the back connect, but really organizable Velcro ties. I mean, there's nothing left to say. Definitely PC Crazy approved badge for the FV270. Outstanding. I'm really digging the case. Really loving the whole design and everything all together. Big thumbs up to Cougar for this case. And as you saw on Computex footage for the boot, I really loved it back there. Even though they had a much bigger figurine, so you can rotate bigger figurines than this small Batman right here. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I'll put the links for the Cougar FV270. I'll try to find both black and white, and of course the Poseidon Ultra 360 addressable RGB in the description below, and I'll even pair the luminous rotating platform and the Apolar 120 addressable RGB if you want to pair literally everything up. Guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell. See you very soon, guys. Bye bye.